All right, so we are live, guys. Welcome to episode 91. We're chilling with the NY Warriors. That's right, guys. Thanks for joining us on this Monday night. Feels good to be back on the show. We do bi-weekly, and I feel like it takes too long. All right, for the show to come. As you can see, we have a special guest in our panel today. Returning guest. This is his third appearance with the NY Warriors. I just want to introduce you real quick. We have Steve Borock, founder and president of CBCS in the house.
How's everybody doing?
All right, what's going on, Steve?
The usual, grading books and taking care of business, and now
Yeah,
hanging out
man.
with you guys.
Definitely, always a pleasure to have you on the chat, and thank you for pulling away because I know you guys are busy as hell knocking out those gradings, and
Oh yeah,
I'm looking forward to talking to you throughout the show. All right,
cool.
Yeah.
all right. Next, we got the name you can trust, Jeff Johnson, the mayor.
What's going on, people? I'm just going to keep this short and sweet because we got Steve in the house. It's all about him tonight. So let's get it going, guys.
All right, and then next we got Market 316.
What's up? What's up? Look, I'm gonna keep it short. No Slayer propaganda, no evil easel. It's all about Steve and CBCS and what they got coming up. So
All right,
yeah, I can't wait, man.
definitely. And also, guys, just a big shout out to Eli Easy the Game Hunter. His first appearance back since he left to the army almost a year ago.
Yeah, I'm back.
As
But
you can see, he's all clean cut and shaved.
yep, I shaved, I cut my hair, gotta keep it, nice and cut. I'm back. I'm really happy to be here. But let's not take that away from Steve, who's the real guest here. We all, came together to talk some stuff with Steve. So yeah, but I'm glad to be back. It's good to be back.
All right.
Yeah, Eli didn't come for us. He came for Steve. So let's just keep that clear.
Yeah.
All right. So let me just open up the chat real quick and let's see who's joined us real quick. So first in the chat was Four Way Flashes on Comics. Thanks for joining us. And Scott Horry in the house, Lona Spinoza, BXPR Collector, B. Raimi in the house, Gorilla Grotto 5 in the house, Johnny Dakota, liking the covers 4963, Seth AF, Bruce Zayas, Text the Collector in the house. So far that's it. That's the only people in the chat right now. Oh, the comic book estate just joined us. Universe X just joined us. Guys, thank you for joining us. Just to let you guys know, if you want to stay towards the end, there will be a giveaway that Steve and CBCS is sponsoring. You're gonna have a chance to win 2 submissions of modern books, their modern tier grading. But you won't find out to the end. You have to answer Steve's special trivia question that we don't even know what it is yet. So
Yeah.
we're waiting to find out at the end. And that'll be a chance, to win that, which is awesome prize to win. And who else? Jay Salsa 23 joined us in the house. Comics and Culture. Xavi Estrada in the house. All right, guys. So real quick, Steve, I just wanted to I know there's something new that CBCS has done. I think this is the first time. I've never seen this before. They're having CBCS is having an expo, right?
Yep, exactly. It's the inaugural expo for CBCS, and we're gonna have special guests, Donnie Cates and Sam De La Rosa, and they'll be signing and doing Q&As and talking with the guests and doing what they do best, of course. They'll be doing signings and remarks and stuff like that. And then there'll be meet and greets with the graders. You get free grading. There's going to be a movie and poker night where you can win prizes in the poker game. But if you don't feel playing poker, you can watch the movies, hang out, talk with everybody. It's going to be January 19th through the 21st.
Nice.
Hotels are included in it. We're going to be at Texas Steakhouse dinner. There'll be Texas barbecue, Tex-Mex. It's going to be pretty cool. You get to, like I said, you get to meet one-on-one with the graders, ask them grading questions. I'll be hosting most of it.
Nice.
Buddy Saunders from mycomicshop.com, the owner, and he's the largest seller of comic books on the web. by
Nice.
volume. Great guy. He loves fandom. He actually had his first letter published in Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Wow.
He's been a fan forever. And Chris Simons from I Like Comics is going to come talk as well. He owns this amazing store in the Northwest, and great guy. And he'll be talking about how to open a successful comic store, Q&A. Buddy and I will be talking about the history of fandom as well. It's going to be a great time. We're really looking forward to it. And we're going to also announce at the expo some new and exciting stuff that's coming along.
Oh, nice. So this is some exclusive stuff coming out of the expo. That's awesome.
Yeah, and there's even going to be a swag bag and everything, and a commemorative T-shirt, everything.
Nice. I heard you said free grading.
Free.
Yep.
Am I
There'll be
hearing?
25 free gradings.
Whoa. That sounds good to me. Free grading. Because, you know, grading can get real pricey.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
We got to do a
Especially
road trip,
25 of
guys.
them.
All right, guys. So what Steve's talking about, you can see the information on the screen right now. That's the CBCS address, and the dates are there. Also in the description. To get information, if you want to attend that, you the email for what's his name again, Steve? I don't want to butcher it again.
Daryl Hayden.
Daryl Hayden. His email is already in the description of the video, guys. So you can email him if that's something you're interested, and he'll let you know pricing and things like that. So
all the specifics he'll give you.
yeah, he'll give you all the specifics. The email is there, guys. Check it out when you guys get a chance. Also, real quick, while I mentioned the description below, just this episode sponsored by the geekyswagshop.com. Use the discount code NY Warriors and get 10% off of the entire purchase, but also use the link provided below. That link helps support our channel. So if there's anything you want to buy, it's fully licensed, everything. There's statues there, collectibles, there's gear, merchandise, just everything licensed, everything that we love, all the characters, Marvel, DC, movies, things like that. Check it out, guys, when you guys get a chance.
Guys, I still got my shirt.
Oh yeah, you see, that was one of the shirts
that I got from Geeky Swag Shop last year. I still got it.
All right.
Perfect, man. That's perfect. All right. So, Steve, there's one quick question that's related to the expo. From Text to Collector, he said, "Will y'all be doing this every year?"
We hope to. Sure.
Okay. So I guess it depends on how this year goes, right?
Yeah. So far, it's lining up pretty good. So I'm gonna place a bet that next year will happen.
Nice. So, guys, first up, I want to open up some questions for the panel. First, I just want to say I know CBCS, your grading time has like speeded up exponentially. I myself have gotten 2 orders back within the like 3.5 to 4 weeks. That's super fast for grading. And I just want to commend you guys I know it takes a lot of hard work. So, before we open up to any questions, just my question is, since now it's been over a year, right? That you've merged with Beckett, right? So
Right.
how has that impacted you guys now? Like, seeing, after the first year, like what has it done for you guys that makes it different now than before you was merged with Beckett?
Well, the first thing is you were talking about turnaround times.
Yeah.
Our turnaround times were, a couple of months, 5 months at one point. We hired the right people. We have the right people in place. We have the backing of Beckett, so the graders don't have to do anything but grade. They don't have to be working on anything else. We're working nights and weekends too to get you guys your books, but we know that turnaround time is really, really important. So that's one thing that's helped quite a bit. The other is the marketing is taken over by Beckett. So I'm involved with that, but not as heavily as I was before, which is really nice. We have the plastic situation is fantastic. They had plastic people in place. We can order more, and we we have it in house, so we don't have to wait for plastics. Let's say the people we were dealing with before, if they were behind, they didn't care. These people are right on the dime. We say we're getting it Thursday, boom, it comes in Thursday, not 3 weeks later.
Yeah, that's the stuff for encasing for the capsulations of the books.
Right. And the inner well or the outer shell.
Okay.
One or the other. And same thing with labels. They're being produced at a much faster rate now.
The labels are printed in-house or are they outsourced?
Part's outsourced and part is printed in-house because we can outsource the generic part of the label, but with all the information that has to be put on, that's done in-house.
Okay.
So, the printer doesn't know that this label is going to be the first appearance of Captain America. So we have to put that in.
Yeah. And you outsource because of the printers, the plotters. They're called plotters. They those things are like $250,000 machines.
Yep.
Huge.
Yeah. All right. And when you say like you work nights, like there's nights and weekends, so that means that you have multiple shifts, right? Now, like
no, people work the hours that they need to work.
Okay.
So, like, I love coming in on Sundays.
Right.
Nobody seems to work Sunday, which is cool. Everybody needs a day off. And this way I get no phone calls, no emails, and I can just sit and I can just grade and listen to my music. It's fantastic. I can knock out 3 times as many books as I can in a regular work day.
How would you how many books would you be able to give us a number on that?
Well, it depends on what type of books I'm grading. Tell you the truth.
Let's see, if you're grading let's just say modern books for that day. Like, how many typical modern books can you grade? Modern to me, I know they go older from 1976. I know, but those are a little older. But let's just say something from like the 80s and up. Like how many could you typically do in one day?
Well, if I'm doing like a 10-hour day, I could probably knock out about 300.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
But that took years to get there. I mean, when I started basically with our competitor, 50 books a day was a lot. We were running 1 year behind.
Yeah, when you turn around, you wouldn't even know when you were getting your book back.
Right.
I never graded at that time, but I've heard stories.
Oh yeah, it was a nightmare.
Yeah, it was a little bit long of a wait back then. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and now it's funny to hear people complaining that they're getting their books back in 5 weeks.
Yeah.
It's really funny to me, but I understand people want their books back as soon as possible. It's like waiting for your Christmas present or whatever,
Yeah.
But you got for people that have still been maybe still waiting and whatever like that, you guys got safes, you got them well protected, and there's also insurance on the books of God forbid if something were to go wrong. So people should.
Oh, absolutely.
So people, I think that's one of the main things of why we grade and all that, because there's safeguards in place. Yeah, we don't want to hear bad things happen, but we do know that when we fill out that form and fill out that insurance part, that's why you should put the full amount of your books, people. Don't try to cheap on the shipping. I'm just telling you, I'm being real with y'all. Everybody's human. Stuff happens. Remember that whole tornado stuff that was happening in Florida? Everybody flipped out. That's one of the things you can't control. Mother Nature, you can't control certain things in life, and you don't want to play around, especially if they send big books, so
sure.
So that people should just realize that they say your books are safe, everything will be fine. They're all worst case scenarios, but eventually you'll get your order.
Yeah, there's a few questions in the chat that I want to get to real quick, just before the chat becomes a little overwhelming, because I know it gets full a little later, and then I'll be missing a lot of questions. Right now, there's just a few I think are relevant, important, and newer than from when our last visit that you had. This question is from Four-Way Flashes on Comics. He's one of our friends from Canada, and I know that you have a station now in Canada. So his question is, how has expanding into Canada been received, and are there plans to have actual graders in Canada?
Well, right now there's no plans to have actual graders in Canada.
Okay.
We have a great team, and you don't want to split them up. and you don't want to hire new people because you don't want the grading standards to change. You want to be as consistent as possible and give it the best grade possible without being wrong, right?
Yeah.
And so you don't want your senior graders in Texas moving to Canada, right? So right now there's no plans to move any graders to Canada for this foreseeable future, but that could change.
Yeah.
But opening the Canadian Center has been fantastic. We've been just getting lots and lots and lots of books.
Yeah.
It's been
Because
fantastic.
I know the issue was the shipping was very expensive.
Exactly. We've cut down the shipping costs and it doesn't get stopped at customs. People aren't going through your books, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And is it still the same 4 to 5 weeks, even up in Canada? Hello? You guys can hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you. Steve?
I can hear you.
Okay, did you hear Jeff's question?
No.
Oh,
I was saying for Canada, is it still the same 5 to 6 weeks?
I'm still not hearing it.
wow.
Oh, you can't hear?
Jeff is asking, is it still the same turnaround time, 5 to 6 weeks in Canada as it is in the U.S.?
From what I'm being told, it's still 5 weeks.
Nice.
Okay. So guys, real quick, just to let you know, Steve is gonna have little issues on, like, he might not hear Jeff, but he'll hear Marky and me because he's on his phone. So when you do StreamYard, when you click onto your phone, sometimes little things get a little quirky,
Right.
with it. So he might not hear you. But Jeff, if there's anything you want to ask and he can't hear you, we'll just ask it for you. We'll let him know
No
it's from
problem.
you. But the audience, can hear you and everything. So I think in the chat there was another one. Johnny Dakota. He wants to know, how many graders do you guys employ?
Right now we have 8.
Yeah.
And that's what they do full time. They don't do anything else.
Okay. So before, when you wasn't merged with Beckett, the graders would do other things that would keep them from just grading full time. So that affect the time. Now that you're merged, there's things that they don't handle anymore. All they do is grade. So now you can get a more efficient grading. You can get books graded faster.
Yep. Exactly.
And Beckett's been around for a while, and I remember back in the day when they're still doing the cards and everything like that. When they got into that, they're just top notch. So it's a great. And I told you before, Steve, it's a good merger that you and Beckett teamed up. I think it was a great thing.
It's been fantastic. I had my reservations, of course.
Like
any new venture, you get worried, but It's been fantastic. The people at Beckett are fantastic.
That's great. That's great to hear.
Yeah, guys in the chat, just want to let you guys know, because now we've doubled since we started. So I mentioned, stay close to the end. You're gonna have a chance to win 2 submissions courtesy of Steve and CBCS, 2 free modern books, and you just wait to the end to find out what you have to do. You have to be in the chat, though. That's the only way. It's only the people that are in the chat and that are subscribed to the channel that could qualify.
Joker had a couple. Joker M21.
Go ahead, read it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Joker said, "Is there any plans on making exclusive labels like the other guys do?"
Okay, I'm not hearing anything.
Okay, so this is a question too I had. Shout out to Mike. He's one of our panel members that is not able to join because we only could do 6 at a time on here. He wants to know, does CBC have ever planned to do any exclusive labels like the competitor does? The competitor already did
Marvel labels.
Sure, I know
and all that stuff. Yeah.
CBCS, would they ever do DC?
Well, right now, tell you the truth, I'm not big into gimmick labels. I think it takes away from the look of the book. And I want people looking at the book, not so much the label.
Yeah.
The grade has to be large and the titles should be large. But after that, I really like the way the book looks.
Yeah.
And I think most people do. And I think that these labels take away from the presentation of the book. It's almost like this is the presentation of the holder.
Yeah.
And so I'm not really into it.
Okay.
I'm not saying never, but right now there really isn't any plans. We're not fans of it.
Okay. You know, I have my own reservations about those, but I'll save that for another episode.
Well, I'm sure it's
But
Instead of
I understand, you know, I understand exactly what you mean about that.
Yeah, I know. I understand too.
I
But
agree.
how about the flip side of it? Not just the superheroes that they're doing, or what? How about the creators, like they did with what Stan Lee label? Would you maybe consider something with just a creator or something like that?
Well, once again, it takes away from the look of the book.
Mhm.
So to me, they're all in the same camp.
Okay.
But like I said, never say never. You know, if the right deal comes along, the right person comes along, if people are clamoring for it, I mean, we're a business,
Right.
right? So if I get 20 people asking, well, that doesn't matter. I get 2,000 people asking, well, that's a lot.
Right.
And you have to consider that, because as much as I treat this as a hobby, it's actually a business.
Right.
Yeah.
And presentation has always been key with you guys. I mean, even when you first started, and I understand that completely. So you know, you want your books to look good, you want your product to look good at the same time too, holding our books. So yeah, I get the whole gist of that. Man.
Yeah, there was another
I
question.
definitely like CBC's labels or CBCS's labels rather. Just they're really clean, you know, really straightforward, simple. My favorite, honestly, was the older, the first run CBCS did with the labels. Like
I
those are
helped
my
create that one.
I mean, I gotta admit, those that they weren't a bad label, those first ones and everything. So you know, they were you were on par with that, and now you got these and everything, and they're good too. So you know,
Yeah,
you got the hologram and everything.
Let's just not talk about the middle label. That one was
No, we're skipping over that. We're, you know, like the Thanos snap, never happened.
Yeah, never happened.
Yeah, you should do a free. You should do a free changing labels on those, because those are horrible.
Yeah, I'm gonna lose money for that. Okay, sure.
I got a few of them that I could.
Oh, the rivets. Yeah, the rivets.
Yeah, that was done when I was actually that was done while I was not with the company for a little bit. I had back surgery, and we were talking about changing the label. I had back surgery, so I was out for a few weeks, and I came back, and what a surprise! Let me tell you.
You probably went, we did what?
It was probably a lot. It wasn't as clean as that, but yeah.
Yeah, I could imagine. I could imagine.
Yeah, you should do a deal, like for every 5 submissions you get to change one of your old labels. You should do something.
You know,
like
that's a good idea. I'll bring that up the next meeting.
Yeah, that old label. Yeah, that old label is bad.
Middle label. We're going with the middle label.
So there's a question in the chat that I think also Manny had experienced this also. This is from Game Swappers. He wants to know if there's any way to contact anyone in the States. He says instead of India, but I think when you call or when you email or when you call, it goes to a call center, and the call center is like in another country, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's India. They're all Indians.
Right. We got a lot of flack because we have one person in customer service answering the phones.
Yeah.
And we were getting a lot of flack that people were getting busy signals or just voicemail.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, you know, especially for after hours, let's have a call center. And so we gave people what they wanted, but it wasn't what they wanted, I guess.
But can't they email you guys also besides a phone call?
Yes,
they can. Sure, absolutely.
They do.
Your emails
tell
are
you
listed
they'll
on the
contact you in
website.
3 days. They also when they send an email, they tell you that they'll call you back in 3 days.
Yeah,
but
people don't.
Sometimes you don't get a call back though. But I mean, you're kind of busy. I understand that, but it's like thousands of people
if it falls
calling.
through, that's bad. You know, that's not good. And you know, I'm on like our forums, and I give out when people have problems, I give out my personal email, and I get things taken care of. Yeah. I mean, it's really important that we're connected to the hobby and to everybody who's doing it. I don't care if you submit one book or you submit 500. You have to be treated the same. and it's very
I mean,
important. But things do fall through the cracks at times, and that's just business. It
yeah,
happens.
it's understandable. Another thing is like when I like, you know, me and the guys, we do stuff. We send stuff in, and because I can't, it's retarded, but I don't have a printer in my house, so I can't like print out the form. So what I do is I put the invoice number and my address and whatever else information they need. But sometimes I leave notes to let them know like what certain books are like first appearances and like and I because I got one book back, like the first appearance of Dawn, which is the Snake Eyes girl. And
Yeah.
on the book, it doesn't even tell you it's her first appearance, which it is her first appearance. I don't know how do they research on
We
you
do a
know,
lot of
checking.
research for most of the stuff, but once again, sometimes one or two things fall through the cracks, and we would fix it, but I mean, you'd have to pay for a reholder, of course,
Yeah.
which stinks because then you're sending the book in, you're paying for reholder, and there's no way around. We can't keep losing money to fix small problems. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it might be a big thing to somebody, but it might be small to us.
Nah, it's not a big deal to me. It's just it's just
No, I mean,
because I know what it
first
is.
appearance is supposed to be on the label. I mean, it really should be, unless it's first appearance of some knockoff character. That's different. But we try to put all the information we can gather onto every label. But once in a while, something will slip through the cracks.
Right.
Yeah, I think that would probably happen a lot to new books. Because
Yeah, I was just going to say that a lot of that happens to the news books up between CBCS and the competitor and all that other stuff because they just came out and people just like, oh, this is supposedly the first appearance. I'm going to send this in. You guys get it and then send it back. And then the person blows up, but it's not on the label because it just came out.
Well, it only becomes relevant when
not
someone.
just,
Go ahead,
just
Steve.
that. The thing is that with a lot of the independent books, right? You don't know if that's going to be a major character or not. And we don't put throwaway characters on the label usually. So we don't know until sometimes the 5th or 6th issue who's important and who's not.
Right.
I have another question here. This is from Lona Espinoza. He says, when will the convention schedule for next year be released? And if you guys are
pretty
coming,
soon.
Are you guys coming to Emerald City?
Emerald City is a maybe.
All right. So
and I like Emerald City, so I'd like to go out.
You get to go. That's right. Also, I have another question before. If this is about New York City Comic Con,
Right.
So do you know if when you'll be, I guess, eligible? Well, how am I word this? When would you guys be eligible to attend that convention, if that's even known?
Yeah, I heard that the what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry. That the contract between our competitor and Reed is over now. So I guess we're taking a wait and see approach. What's going to happen? But hopefully we'll be in New York next year.
Yeah, I mean, if it's over, then you probably will be able to attend the Emerald City because that's Reed Pop. A lot of these guys don't know which con who belongs to what. But,
right.
Yeah, and C2E2.
That would be cool.
Yeah. All right. So good. So, I mean, that's good. Then, we don't know yet, but that means that there's a good chance that you will be. So
Sure.
That'll be good.
And if you guys aren't bored with me, I'll come back on at some point next year and we'll talk more about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you guys will be there,
Well, you know what? I don't think Steve can hear me, but you should ask him if he's going to be at New York Comic Con. Because if he is, we can all get together, take a group picture or something.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Jeff said that if we're there, if you show up, if you guys show up next year, we could take that group pic finally. You know.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome, man. I'd
That
love
would be
to have a
great.
picture with you
Yeah.
guys. That would be
Awesome.
so cool.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I'll be able to go next year, but we'll see. I haven't been to New York Comic Con in God knows how long.
We'll Photoshop you into the picture.
That's what I say. We'll
Yeah.
get Eddie the comic guy. We'll Photoshop you in over there.
You know what's so funny, because you know the charity auction they made over did you hear, did you speak to Mike
Mike
from
Nagan.
Repop?
Yes.
Yes, Mike Negan.
Yes.
So they, on the back of the, what you call it, the
back of the
the
paddle.
paddle,
Yes.
yeah, it says CBCS on it.
Yep. Mike is
Yeah.
a great guy and a big supporter of us, even though he works for Reed's.
Yes.
That's
But I was
awesome.
involved with those charity auctions for so long.
You was
And-
hosting them, weren't you?
Yes. And I still was. It just didn't make sense for me to come in for the last two. It's so expensive to go to New York now, between the flights, the hotels, everything, just to show up for 2 hours and do the charity auction.
Yeah.
As much as I'd like to do it, I can't. I'll try to make C2E2 the next year, and go back to hosting it, because I love it, but I also love the fact that we're doing charity work, and we've raised over $500,000 for St. Jude's, which is one of the best charities you could ever give to. It's just fantastic. And I also do the work, of course, for Hero Initiative, which is our hobbies charity, which is very important. But I'm really big on charity work and giving money away too. Just don't tell Pam. She yells at me. I give away too much money for charity.
Yeah, last year, shout out to Edwin from Strictly Comics. He put together a community auction, and all the proceeds were donated to a Heroes Initiative. Some of us took part of that a little bit. Like I donated a book, and I was on their panel for the beginning. I think Manny also donated a book. Erod donated a book too for that.
I donated that logo.
Marky did
And
also.
some other stuff. Yeah. It was nice.
And it was pretty successful. They raised almost $10,000.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and that was donated to Heroes
Great,
Initiative.
you guys.
And then I think he's planning to do it again this year. I don't know if he's reached out to you or not. But he's planning to do one again before the ending of the year, if I'm not mistaken. And all the proceeds are going to go again to the Heroes Initiative.
Yeah, I got I got one phone call, and as soon as it's put together, I'll be helping out with that too.
Yeah. So shout out to Edwin. He's in the chat right now. Question. Let's see. Knights of Old. Would they ever do pulps? Will there
Probably
be
not?
Oh, probably not.
I mean, the cost that it would take, that we would charge for doing a pulp, you'd have to count every page, and they're so thick, and it's so time consuming. And then there's the overhangs, which could get damaged in the holder. Pulps have a very large overhang, a lot of them. And then the ones that don't, you can't tell if they're trimmed or not half the time. So pulps are probably not something we would do. I love pulps, and I wish we could do them, but it's just not economical.
Yeah, some people in the chat are asking what are pulps.
Pulp magazines. They were called dime novels, and mostly it's text with lots of cool illustration. The first Conan, Kazar had a pulp before Marvel Comics #1. So that predates Marvel Comics 1. I actually own a copy just because it's so cool.
And then his question also, it leads into a few more, so it's got to be a breakdown. He says, "Well, this was my question. I already know the answer to this, but so they can hear. Will there be a census?" And yeah, so we'll stick with that one because the other one's a totally different question.
Yeah, there will be a census and hashtag soon.
Awesome.
There we go.
Yeah, what I was telling people is that CBCS is new. The kind of they're not as old as the competitor, obviously. So a census coming out early. I remember people were asking for one about a year ago, right? 2 years ago, and
Right.
it would actually hurt because
Absolutely.
it's not as broad because you haven't been open as long.
Sure. I mean, if you looked at the census, if we put it out 2 years ago, and it shows Superboy 1, and it shows that there's one in 7-0 and one in 3-0, you would think, okay, it's really hard to get it, at all. But it's not such a hard book to get.
Mhm.
But it would look so by the census, and we didn't want to fool anybody, and we don't want anybody being misled, especially the new people in the hobby.
Yeah,
Which
they'll
is
think a
very,
book.
very important to take care of the new people, because the new blood is very important. We got to keep this hobby going.
That's right. We're all getting old. So
Don't
it's true. The new guys
remind
like
me.
No, that's facts, man. I mean,
yeah.
Speak for yourself.
And the last part of the question, which was says, how do they handle spine rolled golden age books that are a bit too wide for the holder?
We don't certify them.
You don't? Okay. There
Wow.
you
We just send it back, refund their money,
okay.
and say it's just too big for the holder. But that said, we started planning on working on a magazine size holder.
Oh,
And so then those books will fit in there.
Nice. And I know the magazines people have asked you that for a long time, but
yes.
now with especially DC doing their black labels all magazine size,
Right.
it's a good piece of the market to grab.
Yeah, especially
So
there. Sometimes we go to these. I'm sorry. We go to these events and get books signed, and they have those black labels. And you go to these stores, so they like triple charge you for grading with the other people.
Triple charge.
Make it much. Yeah, I'm telling you, I paid $100 for one book, a modern book. It was $105 for a modern book. Got signed by John Romita Jr.
So you probably paid for the John Romita signature.
No, I paid for that, and then I
grading.
paid for the grading. Was like $60, $70. This is expensive.
Wow, that does sound expensive.
Yeah, that's like a whole. I was like, damn, that's like a whole submission. I could have submitted a bunch of books to CBCS.
Well, Steve, there's your price point be lower than that, and you're going to be having a whole lot of magazine subscriptions coming in.
Sounds good.
Yeah, because
to me.
it's third party. The store's a third party, so they're gonna.
Oh,
charge
they
you.
probably
Yeah.
upcharged it right there, man.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
It didn't seem right, but yeah, if you went through a third party, everybody has to make their money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but not this store. This store, rich. and you know they get the dealer discount. So I mean, they could offer like a little discount. I mean, not so much, but still they can make money off of you. But still, try to like. That's why I don't.
It's the key word out there, Manny. Business.
Right.
All business. And unfortunately, I mean, we've seen it many a times. At shows, or you guys go to a lot more signings in the city because I'm out on the island. So, and you're just like, what? And unfortunately, it's the nature of the beast.
Another thing is too, like, I got something. I got a little. It's a little thing about
go
signatures, right? You know how you go to these cons, you get signatures from these guys. Listen, I don't mind paying them for their signature, but when it comes down to like you getting 10 signatures and it's $10 a pop, and then you go in, you get another 10. That's another 10. After you come out of it, you're like, shit, man, I got all these signatures. And a lot of these books is not even worth the money you're trying to put into the book with the person's signature just to give them a 20. I understand some of these guys, they need to make money somehow, but some of these cons pay these guys and some of them don't get paid. And plus, a lot of these guys, they make a lot of money off of just doing one cover. I just don't see why. I don't see why a Jim Lee needs to charge you $30 to sign a book that he got paid for already, and he's like the president or whatever operations at DC. Why are you charging the fan? And I understand it's because they have dealers out there. They bring like 50, a whole short box or a whole long box.
Well,
but then there's the little
I think
guy that only brings 1 or 2 books, and we get screwed over because other guy. It just becomes a money pit for a guy like me and the guys on the panel.
Yeah, I think though that this happened because of certification, especially. They saw people getting their signature for free and then selling it on eBay or wherever for $150. And they're like, wait a minute, I want my piece of the pie. And they deserve it. They're the creator. So
Yeah,
I think that it was a evolution. Because, I mean, back in the day when I was going to the cons, I could get Stan Lee for free and sit and talk with him, Jack Kirby for free and sit and talk with him.
I remember those days.
They were great. But I think that these guys were going, wait a minute, I signed that book for this guy. He told me that, I'm his favorite artist and, I need your signature. And then all of a sudden it's selling on eBay for $200.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. I understand that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't say it's right. I'm just saying this is the evolution.
Yeah, I understand because
I mean, I'm really good friends with Neil Adams, and he charges $50 a signature.
Yeah.
I mean, and he would charge more if he could.
Yeah,
because I think if he goes over 50, then he's not gonna, I don't think nobody.
Yeah, you lock a lot of people out.
We'll see.
But it's also what just to bring up, since we're talking about grading and all that, when they started grading baseball cards and when they put signatures from PSA DNA and all that stuff, when that stuff started getting popular and people are showing to autograph sightings for a player for free, and then they see it on eBay saying, oh my God, that's like, people are paying $100 or $200 for Derek Jeter's autograph when he was just a rookie. And now we all know what he did and everything with his career. And now they're paying more. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast with anything collectible or notable or something like that. It's the supply and demand for the whatever you're trying to get. And it just happens.
Steve, in the chat, I don't mean to cut it off, but I know Game Swappers he's had a few problems, I guess, with the customer service, and he's been trying to get his books back. I don't know what the issue is or anything like that, but he wants to know what's the best way of contacting someone there about his order,
if he's having that many problems, then have him contact me directly.
Okay.
You have my email address. Why don't you give it to him?
Okay. All right, Game Swappers. I'll give you when this is over, I'll give you his email address. All right.
Steve,
make sure you have the order number.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just have your order. Well, I'll put all your information on the email, your order number and all that.
Please. And I'd love to help him out.
Okay. Thank you,
Steve. I had a question about if books like the 2000 AD, like the Judge Dredd series, books like from the UK and things like that. Like if you're talking about like the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s stuff, like in the Cat and Brins as well. What is it that makes those books really difficult to not only just difficult to grade, but just difficult to like preserve? And because I know a lot of there's no grading company that grades those Judge Dredd books because of the newspaper. It's like a newspaper, and the same thing with like the Marvel UK books. Some of those are more newsprint.
I think it's the size. I don't. If it doesn't fit in the magazine holder, then it can't be graded.
Right.
Because I don't see any reason why we wouldn't grade those books. I mean, the foreign market is fantastic. We do incredibly well with foreign books.
Right.
We have an incredible specialist. His name is Tim Bildhauser, and he's one of the top specialists in the world on foreign books. And we're kicking butt getting foreign books in.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Hey,
So
aren't the British books like a little oversized?
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
if it doesn't fit into a magazine holder, nobody's going to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars to mold something just to get in a small amount of books.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know there's a few keys like the Captain Britain first appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And Judge Dredd's first appearance, like,
Yeah.
there's no
Yep.
way you can fit that in like a slab. It's
And
way
then
too
you have
big.
the Ninja Turtles. Then you have the Turtles books.
Well, the Turtles books fit into a magazine holder.
Yeah, the magazine holders. Yeah.
Right.
and don't
Right.
forget first appearance of Tank Girl. That book is going to be blowing up soon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
See, Steve knows.
How
Well, you better
far
buy it.
along is the magazine holder? Like how is I know you probably don't have a date, but like a time frame, like maybe like a year from now. What like how?
Well, I'm hoping it's not a year, but it could be. It could be. Right now, we're just in discussions, and we're just looking at dimensions and what the tooling costs will be and everything. But 3 months ago, we weren't even thinking about it.
Right.
Like we said before, is it because of the popularity of the Black Label is why you're getting more into that now? Because there's more demand to get those sizes graded?
No, we've always, wanted to do this. It just we had to right the ship, right? I mean, our turn times were behind. We were in the we had to move and everything. So right now we're able to explore other avenues. Now the turnaround times were really good, but the turnaround times were the most important thing, and that was what we were focusing on.
Hey,
With the turn, I know there's a few questions in the chat because turnaround times, and I'm assuming this is why they're asking this. This is from Big Will. He says, "Will the pressing ever move to Texas?"
There's a good chance.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Just one thing. Give a shout out to Daryl Hayden.
Oh yeah,
He's
they
in
were
the
hating.
chat.
Yeah, he's in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been in the chat, Steve, holding it down, answering questions for people. I know you can't see the
that's
chat, but he's been in here. Yeah. And guys, again,
Daryl is the best. This guy is CBCS through and through. There is not a more enthusiastic person than Daryl when it comes to CBCS. He's the sweetest guy in the world too. You wouldn't believe it. And he loves comics, loves the hobby. He is just an amazing, amazing human being.
all right. And guys, again, for the CBCS Expo, you have to email Daryl Hayden. His email is actually in the description already of this video for all information on that.
He's also on Facebook if you want to check him out. He's on Facebook. You go to CBCS Collector Comics page.
Yeah.
He's on.
Yeah, he's always on the Facebook page. He's very good about answering people and our forums as well.
Yep. He's
Daryl's
cool.
all
I had a couple
over.
of conversations with him.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
So
you should have him on sometime. He'd be wealth of knowledge.
yeah,
Nice.
definitely. Yeah, he could be definitely. Definitely, I'll reach out to him and have a guest spot on here. So we almost at that hour point. So I just wanted to if you wanted to do your question for the two modern giveaways.
Okay. Don't forget though, you have to pay postage when you do the free moderns.
Yeah,
Because
guys, you're
we have to
getting
pay
the
FedEx
grading done
as well.
for free, but the postage you have to pay for shipping. If you guys don't know, the last winner for when Steve came last time, he did the same thing, and the last winner was Nice Cover Bro. If you guys know who Nice Cover Bro is, he's part of YouTube. He was the last winner.
Okay.
He got his done. We ready for Steve? Well, it's the first person who answers this question in the chat, right?
Sure.
Don't make it too easy, Steve.
Yeah, we don't even know what the
How
question is.
about,
Yeah, we don't.
How about something
Super
about
hard,
Superboy?
Sorry, say it again.
How about something about Superboy?
Something about Superboy.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Go for it, Steve.
All right. Well, Superboy's came out, of course.
Hold on. Who's
everybody
typing?
knows
Is
it's
somebody
Superboy
typing in the
number
background?
It's
Yeah,
Steve. Yeah, I think you're hitting your mic or something, Steve.
Oh,
Is that better?
yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
You hear the typing over the voice.
Okay, I'm still hearing the crackling, so it's not just me.
All right.
Okay, so before there was Superboy number 1, Superboy first appeared in what comic book?
Oh, I know this.
Sorry,
And
guys.
what issue number?
It's for the
Oh,
chat.
you're gonna get.
Wait, hold on. Go ahead. What comic and what issue number?
Wow, you really break it up, guys.
I can hear you. We can hear you, Steve.
Okay, so like I said, once again, Superboy first appeared in what comic book? And I'll give you a hint. He was not on the cover of that comic book.
All right.
what
And
issue?
and do they have to say the issue number as well?
Yep.
Okay, guys. So what comic and what issue number? So I don't know what it is. So I'm just gonna
Know what it is.
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know
be
what it
reading
is.
out in the chat. Somebody wrote. I'm only gonna read the qualifying one. So you gotta have the name and the number, guys. So Superman Family number 1.
Nope. 1940s.
Adventure Comics 103.
No. I know what it is.
No, that
So
was his first cover appearance.
More
Okay.
Fun Comics 101.
Yep, that's it.
That's it.
Oh wow. So Four-Way
like-
Flashers 1.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, congratulations.
4-way 1.
All right, Four-Way. So Four-Way Flash is a regular. He's been part of the community for a long time. He lives in Canada. He lives in Toronto, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Canada.
So so I guess he would just email you, right? Or
Yeah, just send him my email address.
okay.
Yeah.
So Four-Way, you could tell him, he'll know. Just tell him who you are, Four-Way Flashes, mention me, and you already know. I'll give you his email. And then you just you got to mail him the 2 modern books, and then when they're ready, when they're graded, they'll contact you for shipping.
It's funny. It's funny you bring that up, Steve, because when I was looking up stuff on some of the Golden Age stuff, I was like, "Wow, that's Superboy's first appearance, but he's not on the cover."
That's right.
And all of a sudden, I said, "Oh, I'll get it another time." Wrong move. I should have grabbed that book.
Oh, you should
300.
Marky, you
that
should
book.
know by now.
I
Never
know,
pass up a
dude.
Golden
Yeah.
Age
Did I
DC
have
copy.
300 at that time? Did I have 300 in my pocket at that time? No, I didn't. Now I regret it. But
Next time,
And
I'll
you remember,
$300
who,
in
remember
your
who's on the
pocket.
cover, right?
was that?
Remember who's on the cover?
It was the Green Arrow, right?
And Speedy, exactly.
Speedy. Yeah. Oh. There's a lot of books like that that I
You
passed.
know
Oh,
what's
yeah.
crazy? I
Yeah.
had that book.
You know what's funny is that
Yeah.
I don't know, Steve. Can you see me, Steve?
Yeah.
I was gonna send these, but they probably won't make your desk because the condition, they're not like high grade. They're lower grade, but
I grade everything.
you can appreciate these right here.
I'm
Let me
having a hard
hide.
time seeing it.
All right, I'm gonna
Very
It's a
small.
Silver Age Superboy issue.
I'm gonna show you.
There you go.
Oh,
Actually,
there
the
you
golden
go.
age.
Awesome.
Oh, right, golden, right?
Yeah, so
Nice.
this is that's Superboy 49, first appearance of Metallo from Krypton.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So I was gonna
That's a
say,
great book.
I was just looking at them before you got on, and this one here, Superboy 89. It's funny how you picked Superboy,
Oh,
and I never showed you these.
Monel. Sure.
Yeah, first Monel. Yeah. That's
Very
a
cool.
coincidence.
It's just so funny that he brings up the Super
And
Bowl.
it's funny that you bring up Superboy as your trivia, and I was just I have it, literally have him right next to me.
Well,
It's
what do
also,
they say? They say sick minds think alike, right?
Yeah, right.
it's also I gotta ask this since we're on a Superboy kick, because of the Titan show. Have you seen Adventures of Superman 500 come up the desk now more than often?
I've seen it, yeah,
Mhm,
but not as often as some other books. I mean,
mhm.
I'm seeing more X-Men than almost anything else,
Okay,
and Spider-Man.
of course. Okay. I mean, let's put it this way: when you hear the new TV show or the next season and this character is going to get released or the movies and all that,
Oh, we
do
get a flood.
that's the thing. Do you get a flood of that character's first appearance?
Absolutely,
Of
absolutely.
course, he gets a flood. I already sent him 3 Novas.
Oh, gee.
Oh God.
You are Nova drunk. I mean,
Yeah.
give me a break.
Hey, Nova rocks.
I know, but that's just like
He
He was going to
Nova's
send a
underrated.
4th one, but shit happens.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna send you a 4th one, but the post office lost my package or delivered it,
Oh,
or I don't
no.
know. Yeah. I packed up 4 books. I sent them to Manny because he was gonna put together with his books. It was a Nova #1, a Batman 366, first Jason Todd in the Robin
Yeah.
suit, a Detective 475, if I'm not mistaken. That's the fish gun, the Joker fish.
Yep.
Mhm.
That one, and then a more of a modern one, a Detective 1000 variant.
Any info about that? They're not helping you with that?
Yeah, I have to. I will talk about it offline.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's
Well,
all
hopefully,
things, man. I hate that.
I really hope it's my GI Joe dog tag situation, and you get those books at sometime down the road, because I ordered original GI Joe dog tags like the original release, like 1982 GI Joe dog tag. So I was like, damn, I hope I get these in the mail because I can't find these any.
So,
But,
come for people. All right, so we have a fun question, and Knights of Old. I know he's doing this on purpose, but I gotta ask it because me, Marky. Sorry, Marky. So he wants to know who you think is cooler. He wants to know, Steve, who you think is cooler, Namor or Aquaman?
Oh, here we go again.
Boy. Well, tell you the truth, it depends on who's writing it at the time. When I was growing up, I thought that Submariner was much cooler than Aquaman because the way they were written. And then, I guess, for better lack of words, Aquaman became more of a badass. And when he was written well, especially when he lost his hand and everything, that was unbelievable.
Excuse me.
Right?
All right.
But for me, my favorite heroes are always, it depends on who's writing and drawing at the time. I mean, when I was a kid, it was Captain America, and especially the Steve Englehart and the Sal Buscema issues, especially when they brought back the 1950s Captain America Commie Smasher. It was really cool stuff. But, then Captain America wasn't being written very well, and he wasn't my favorite character anymore. So it's really hard for me to pick between the two. It depends on what's going on right now in the books.
Right.
Well, that means Aquaman wins because he's got the more interesting storyline. Okay, next one.
Steve, one last.
We know who your favorite is.
One last quick question. I know you're into like the video games, grading and stuff like that. What have you been picking up recently, and what's been something like really cool that you got recently?
Oh, I got a Conan, which is very hard to find, factory sealed, Nintendo.
Okay.
And I've been picking up a few Marvel Superhero War of Gems. I got a really nice 9.4A, which is really high grade for the Wolverine game. And that's the same as the Jim Lee art.
Right.
It's really cool. Picked up a Who Framed Roger Rabbit in high grade. I love that movie. And that's what I picked up recently.
Yeah, that's cool. What are your like? What's your main like collection? Like, is it stuff related to comic books, or is it like anything from
It's
like Nintendo type and like before like cartridge based stuff?
no, my collection is really scattered. I collect the special stuff I collect is Marvel Mania, the 60s and early 70s Marvel stuff.
Mm,
It's really hard to find. I have like a Marvel value stamp signed by Stan Lee. It's the
mm,
book. It ruined a lot of comic books, that book, but I still love it because it was part of my childhood. And I collect, Tim Truman, the artist. He does for the Grateful Dead Almanac, my favorite band. He
yeah.
illustrates their lyrics, and I own a lot of the original art for that.
Okay.
That's cool.
I have a page from X-Men #2 by Jack Kirby. Um,
Wow.
it's very eclectic what I collect. I have to love it. And that's the most important thing about collecting. People shouldn't forget this. Collect what you love and what you can afford. And you're going to do really, really well.
There you go.
Because if you don't like what you have, at the end of the day, why are you looking at it? You know?
I like
I
that
like
whole collect what you can afford.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, don't go into debt. It's not worth it.
This
Yeah.
is true. This is true.
Yeah, Eli.
So true.
Yeah, yeah.
So real quick,
I ain't going
I'm
into debt
gonna
because
do
of
two
collecting.
questions left from the chat, and then then I'm not gonna answer anymore from the chat because it's already past our threshold. But I think these questions are pretty cool. So comics for all people in the morning wants to know what is the biggest book you've ever graded? Have you ever graded like what do you say is your biggest grade?
Well, I mean, I've graded action #1s
Okay.
in high grade. I used to own 2 action comics #1s at one point. Not at the same time.
Wow.
And I've graded, Suspense 3, the San Francisco copy. Sorry, not San Francisco copy, the Pennsylvania copy. And I've graded so many books that are worth so much money. I can't tell you. I don't pay attention to the prices. I have to treat every book the same, whether it's a Spawn one or an action one.
Yeah.
It's really important to me to stay very neutral. But yeah, I've graded Detective 27s in high grade. I've graded I've graded a book I used to own, the More Fun 52, the first Spectre, your Church Mile High copy. And it came across my desk. I was like, this is my old copy. This is so cool.
Wow.
I would think if someone that has that book to grade, I think they'll contact you directly, right? They one's shipping you that book.
A lot of people fly in with their books.
Yeah.
Because they're one-day submissions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they come in the morning, we grade them, and they leave that late afternoon.
Wow.
Yeah,
for something that high caliber, I'm just talking about like old books like that Major First Appearance. I wouldn't want to put that in the mail, people. you get on a plane, you get to Texas, have a barbecue with Steve, and then go and get it graded. Well, wash your hands first, then go get it graded.
Exactly.
And then fly home.
Yeah. So how many Action 1s and Detective 27s are in the vault right now for CBCS?
Ooh.
0. They're one-day books.
0?
Nice try,
Damn,
Manny.
you graded all of them.
Manny was going to pay a visit.
There's one-day
I ain't
books.
going to Dallas.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? So so you graded a few of them. So that means you have on your census, you will have those books on your census, right?
Oh, sure. I mean, I graded more when I was with my competitor, but we have graded action 1s here. Yes.
Nice.
Wow, that's great. That's great.
Nice. It's gonna be nice to see that when that comes out. How far you think along is that?
You know what? I don't want to give a date because every time I do, it gets pushed back.
Okay.
So I'm hoping for next few months, but who knows? Like I said,
Okay.
it's such a daunting task for these programmers.
Yeah.
And what happens is I'm speaking comic books and they're speaking IT.
Mhm.
Right.
So I don't understand what they're talking about, and they don't understand what I'm talking about.
Marky, they need us. We speak
Yeah, I
comic
know.
and
Yeah,
IT.
you know, we'll fly down to Texas, have some barbecue, and put these people in line. That's fine.
Yep.
But I got actually a little thing to piggyback on the big Golden Age books and whatever like that. When you see the Golden Ages, like you know, maybe like conserved to keep it preserved and all that stuff, or just totally restored. I mean, does it make any difference to you as a collector if it's been touched or been just trying to keep it together so it doesn't fall apart anymore, or just
Well,
totally
I think,
rehash with it? Do you
yeah,
mind
I think it's
that?
really, I think it's really important that if a book is falling apart, that you should actually conserve it.
Okay,
I think that there's no reason for the next generation not to enjoy it.
right. And as long as she can keep still the book intact, no matter how chipped it is, no matter it's not, as long as it's still presentable in a way. Yeah, I'm like that. Especially those old books, you won't see them. They didn't make multiple copies of those things. It was a one print and done. You know, a lot of
one
people
and
don't get
done.
that.
Yep, they're not printing any more vintage books. I'll tell you that.
Mhm.
All right, so we're gonna go with the last question. It's
Sure.
a fun question, Steve, and it's opinion based, not what the textbook says it is. Is what you think. What do you prefer? First appearance of Wolverine. Shout out to Mike Joke M21. First appearance of Wolverine. Hulk 180 or 181?
Here we go. Really? Wow. Oh,
What I didn't hear him.
181.
181.
Oh, yeah, 181. Oh, okay, there you go, Mike. He says 181.
Wow. Okay, now to piggyback on that.
Oh
No.
no,
No,
more.
real quick. Because of that whole controversy, like he's got this little panel in that 180, and then he's like full-fledged on the cover in 181. What is considered a first appearance these days? Is it the cameo or the cover or the whole, he's in the whole book? Or the she's
Well, there's the first appearance in cameo, and there's the first full appearance. That's why we separate the two.
Okay.
And it's up to you guys to decide what you like better.
Yeah,
I knew he was going to say that.
That's right. The
Nice
market likes
answer,
181
Steve.
better.
Nice answer. Nice
Yeah.
answer.
No, it's
Well,
true. The
I know
market.
which one I like better, but that's okay. Everybody has difference of opinion.
That's right.
The only 181 I know is First Poison Ivy. Anyway,
That's a great book too.
yes.
Just
But
make
anyway,
sure
no,
Centerfold's in there.
that I just had to touch on that, but that was good.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So I
Just-
think we
just-
reached that threshold. You know, and we're just gonna go down the line. I'm gonna start with Steve. Steve, there's anything you want to tell us? Anything that you want to share with everyone?
Well, I'd just like to give a shout out to my website, of course, which is cbcscomics.com. And you can see us on Facebook under CBCS Comics. And you can go to our forums. If you go to our website, you can go to the forums. And you can follow me on Instagram under Steve Borock. And I like posting a lot of books. It's real fun. But really what I'd like to say is you guys are the best. I love being on with you guys. It's always a pleasure. You guys love your comic books, and there's nothing better than that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, guys. And the website is already in the description below. From there you can get on everything that Steve mentioned. Eli, any final thoughts? Anything before we go?
There we go. Yeah, as you can see, my lights turned off because we got automatic lights in our room. So
It's
I
fine.
mean, it's bedtime.
We can
It's
see you.
time for you, sir.
yeah, glad to be back. I'll be back on that show. Definitely great to have Steve here providing great insight and knowledge on the comic book industry and everything like that, and grading.
Thank you.
No final thoughts. Just yeah, great show.
Cool.
Love being here.
All right. It was good to have you back, Eli, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm glad to see that you're doing good. and everything's okay out there.
Yeah.
Jeff, any final thoughts before we go?
The usual, man. Great show, guys. Your guys was great. People in the chat was great. Steve, you're awesome, man. I'm looking forward to your, when we all get together, take a picture together.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We'll get together and hang out. Not just
Yeah, definitely. We definitely need to after work. Well, basically, if you guys are working the con or whatever, afterwards, go have dinner. You know the deal.
That would be cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. Manny, any final thoughts before we go?
Yeah. Just thanks to Steve for coming on, and thanks to my son for serving this beautiful country, the United States of America, and
Wonderful.
everybody on the chat. And I guess we'll see everybody tomorrow because we're gonna sell some books.
Manny keeping it 100. Marky 316.
Oh boy, I don't. Steve, as always, thanks for coming on and answering the questions from the chat and some of ours, and just informing us what's going on with CBCS. Yeah, it's always a great time just listening to you, and definitely, if you do come to New York Comic Con or something in New York, and yeah, even my ass will get on the train and meet up with these guys. We'll have a nice time and have dinner and talk about just what we like to collect, and that would be great.
Absolutely.
That would be awesome, dude. Awesome.
I would love it.
Yeah, Mark is paying. Don't worry, Steve.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Sure, no problem. Yeah, no problem.
We're going to go to Smith Walensky's then, right?
Steve. You know what? The thing is, Steve's a Long Island boy, and so am I. So, forget about it.
Yeah, definitely. Even if I don't get to go to con, I'll still go. If you guys are there, we'll definitely do that in the afternoon. So
Absolutely.
So, Steve, again, I want to thank you. And like what Eli said, it's always great to have your insight on the industry and let us know where things are at. And thank you for, always accepting our invitation, man.
Thanks for having me. It's a real honor. I'm not kidding. I really, really feel very privileged that you guys like to have me on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well,
it's funny to hear that. It's because we're honored for him to be on our dumbass show. Oh man, that's wow, cool, man, cool.
All right, guys. All right, everyone in the chat again. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Thanks for your awesome questions. Thanks for everyone being respectful. And join us tomorrow night right here, 10 p.m. Eastern, home of NY Warriors. We're gonna have our Tuesday night auction, and that's it, guys. Until tomorrow. Peace.
Later, Gators.
Good night.
Later.
Hey.